What's up, guys, and welcome back to some ComputerCraft tutorial type deals here. We're back in our little office in the middle of purgatory, I guess. And eventually, let's go outside. I don't even remember what this looks like. I don't think I've ever walked out here. It's a nice little brick. I'm gonna build a data center here eventually. Kind of revamp my old data center type videos with some ME and some ComputerCraft automation. Once we get more advanced, I might actually go back a bit and do some basics, like just basic functions and stuff like that. These are more like a follow along tutorial. I'll try and explain what I'm doing as much as possible, but I don't know. Sometimes the videos might be very long, but today we are going to we're gonna do some very minor networking with Rednet. So what you're gonna want is you're gonna want a modem on the top or the sides or somewhere of your computer. And what we're gonna do here is grab a floppy disk, because we're gonna do this all on a disk this time, so we don't have to change anything. Let's go do stuff over here. Oh, also forgot to mention, someone in the comments, it was bugging somebody that the command would move over a bit in the menu. I just missed a space, so if you go to your command and go to edit.menu, and then you come down to where all these math functions are, and you go over to the second part of this, and then you just I guess I can click in advance right here. Let's delete command, let's just delete that. That is where you can get the fix, so it stops doing that. So let's just go back in there and you edit.menu, and then we can scroll down and over to where that is, and we just add a space there. That'll fix it, and you can add that to your operating system install disk or whatever, and then we can reboot and it'll boot up. So we're gonna do some networking. We're in here, there's send file and get file. They don't have anything there right now because they're not in there, and I'm not gonna show you how to add them. It's really simple. All you have to do is add the program to the computer and point that menu item to it. So we're actually just going to go straight up and install it. So we're going to grab, what are these? We're going to grab our empty floppy disk, put that in there. We're going to go to our command, and we are going to start by labeling this. So we're going to label set bottom, so that's where the disk drive is, and we're going to call it let's just call it FTP, because it's kind of like it's file transfer protocol. And then we're going to start by going to the disk. So we work in the disk directory, and there should be nothing on here. And the first thing we're going to do is edit, and we're going to start with our get file, because that's the simpler one, get file. And you can name it whatever you want, but I just call it get file. It's easy to remember. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our good old, actually no, the first thing we need to do is do this command, rednet, and then .open. So this is a function, and then you're going to in here you're going to put a string of where the modem is. On this one, it's on the top, so that's going to open our modem, and it's going to be ready for networking. You can do this also with the Rednet cabling. I don't know if it's in tech or not. I just use the wireless modems because they're easier. And then we're going to do our default term.clear function, and then term.set cursor pause 1 and then we're going to do a nice little print message of let's say getting files. This is not the most ideal method of doing this, but it's a really basic program, and it works really well. The only problem is you have to set a computer up to send a file or to receive a file before you send it. So it's possible, and I'm going to work on it in the future to make it so that you can receive a file all the time. It has like a process running or something like that will help accept, send, and receive files. Maybe make a file server type thing. I don't know. I want to experiment with this. I'm actually getting back into Minecraft now, so I think I might be going back onto the Tekkit server, working on some cool data center stuff with ComputerCraft and whatnot. So yeah, so that's what we want. We're gonna quickly save, and then we're gonna start our while loop. We're gonna make a while true. So while this is true, this is just an infinite loop, and we're gonna do something. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set an ID and a message. This is what we're going to be receiving, and we're going to set this equal to not double equal, Rednet. We're going to use the dot receive, and this is where I screwed up a few times. You got to make sure you spell receive right, because it's freaking pain to spell, because I'm terrible at typing and spelling stupid words like that fast. So that's going to receive from Rednet an ID and a message. So we're going to do an if statement now, and we're going to do if message is equal to, and this is going to be a code to receive files. So it can be anything. I'm just going to do receive. Oops. So that is our code to receive, and then once that is caught, we are going to do a second one, ID2 and message 2. Similar to above, and that is going to be also equal to rednet dot receive. Receive. I'm going to spell it wrong every single time. Make sure you spell it right, because that'll save you some headaches later. And then we're going to set up a file. So this is going to be what the file is, and these are going to use some other functions in ComputerCraft. fs.open is going to open the file, and we're going to put message 2. You'll get this once we write the send file, where these message, this is just parameters that you can pass through arguments through Rednet, and then w is write. Yeah, that should be good. So what we're doing here is we're opening a file called whatever message 2 is, and we're writing to it. And then once we have that, we're going to set up another ID, ID3, message 3, and then make that equal to rednet.receive, rednet.receive, EIVE. And then we're going to do F, because that is our file, dot write. We're going to write into that message 3. Which is going to be passed as an argument from the send file. So, and then after we're done that, we can do f.close. That'll close the file. And then we will print a message saying file space and then quotes. And then we're going to do msg2, put our variable in there, and received. Exclamation point, and that will print that out, and then we can os.reboot. I don't like rebooting, but it's simple. Actually, we can just in the case of our operating system, then we can just do shell. Let's do a quick wait, asleep. Let's do like 5 ticks, and then we'll do shell.run .menu or .back. No, .menu. And we'll put this in front. Yes. .menu. That should work. And I didn't put a dot there. If it doesn't, it'll tell us, and we'll go back to it. And then we can just. But that's, you can just put anything there. You can do OS reboot. That's what I had there before, I believe. And then we're gonna back out here. It's always nice to indent your stuff so you know where each loop is ending. Term.clear, and this is if that doesn't go through. Terminal.set cursor pause 1 1, and then we are going to hold up here. What did I do wrong here? I did something wrong here. I don't even think I need this section. We'll run it anyway. Print. Let's see. Actually, we can just print something. This is. Let's do got file. In my notes, I have it set to the same message as above. I want to see sleep. Let's do 5 again, and then we'll shell.run /. Menu, because that'll go to root, and I forgot to put the one in quotes up there. I don't know why I have that. Whatever it is, it works. It might not even actually get to that. That's why I changed the string up a bit to see if it actually does. So I'm learning stuff as I do this as well, even though this is some old code that I don't even remember. Nah, it should be. I don't know. I got this a long ass time ago, and I'm not sure if I even wrote this complete myself, but I've cleaned it up quite a bit from what it was on the TechEd server, because the ComputerCraft changed a lot. So that is your get file folder or program, and we can exit that now, and we can run that get file, and now it'll sit in a loop and wait to get files forever. So let's hit reboot. And you can just hit Control R to get out of that. Then we'll go back to command cd disk again. Now we ls, we got get file, and now we're going to edit our send file. This is what's going to make magic happen with Rednet. So also if oh, never mind, it didn't do that. This one is going to use some local arguments. So local args equal, and we're going to use this, just like that. Rednet.open. We got to do this again just to make sure. These ones are on the top. Make sure you put. You can also set up a variable so that you can use like an array and put every side in, but I just manually put it in. Hard coding is not always the best way to go, but for ComputerCraft, it's really easy to change. Term.clear. Regular stuff. Term.set cursor position 1 1, and then I'll space this out nicely, and then we're going to do an if statement, and we're going to use if args, and this is going to use our arguments is greater or less than 1, then, and that'll be if we just put in the command for send file, this is going to come up because our arguments are going to be less than 1. There's going to be no arguments. So we're going to print stuff, print, and then we're going to do usage. So we're going to outline the usage of this program, which is a good practice to do. So we're going to do that is going to be required, and that is going to be optional, because there is an optional argument for this program. So it's going to print that out, and then we're going to do print another message, send file, and this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be computer ID. It's going to be in the square brackets, and then our required is going to be the file that we want to send, and that's what it's going to look like. And then we can do a another print. We don't really need that, actually. I don't know why I have that there. Then we can just return. And it's going to return nothing because we don't have anything to return. And end. Now we're going to do another if statement. If the args is equal to 1, so if we have exactly 1 argument, then we're going to start another if statement, and we're going to do fs dot exists is a function to check if our file exists. Args, and then we're using the first argument because there's only one. Then we can type something out here. We're going to use text utils again, utils dot slow print. And we're going to say sending file, and then we're going to do .args 1 and say what the file is. That's our argument, and then we're going to do a exclamation mark because why not? Be happy about it. So we got our slow print there, and then we're going to do some Rednet stuff. So Rednet dot this one is going to use .broadcast because since this only has one argument, there is no ID in front of it. So we're going to broadcast it to every computer that is listening, or using the, let's move this over, that is using the get file command. Broadcast, we're going to do the same thing. So we're sending our receive, that is our code for the get file to actually receive the file. So once it receives that, now it's going to send over the args1. So it's going to send over our first argument. That doesn't have to be in quotes actually because it's not a string. Args1, and then the rain will start. So we're going to save this quick. I'm going to do toggle downfall. And I should probably put a slash before that. And that should stop the rain because that's loud. Okay, where was I? Now we need to designate our file that we're going to transfer. So we're going to do this. fs.open again. And we're going to open our args1. So that's going to be the file name. And then we're going to r, which is read. And then we're going to do our Rednet once again, dot broadcast, and we're going to do file, which is our file we're reading, and then we're going to do dot read all, and that's going to read the entire file. So if you're sending a program, it's going to send everything that's in that program file, all the code. And then we can file dot close, and then we need to do a else statement here because there's a possibility that the file doesn't exist. So the file, or actually let's do it like this. Let's do args1 does not exist. There, and that'll print it out, and then we can return. And that'll be the end of that. So we'll end that out, and then we do have to do an else statement for the if statement up here. So there's another condition. This is if there's arguments, 2 arguments. So else if fs dot exists again. And you can find all these built-in functions on the ComputerCraft wiki page. Args, and there's 2 arguments. And then we're going to do something else. We are going to do text utils dot slow print, and I should probably put something in there. And we're going to do sending file args, and we're going to use the second one because it's going to be the second place. That's where we're going to put the that argument. And then we're going to do 2, and then we're going to do another space, and then we're going to use our args1. And that should be good to go. Move this over again because I don't want it to be moved over. And that will, that's if we're using our 2 arguments, which is the computer ID, so you can send it to a specific computer. So after that, we're going to do f equals, let's just use a capital F for file, just to differentiate from up there. fs.open. This is going to be the same stuff pretty much. We're going to do args, the second one, and we're going to read. And then we're going to get our ID, and that's going to be equal, we're going to 2 number this because we are pulling an argument that's a string, and we want it to be a integer. So that's what we use to cast it to an integer. So we have an ID number now, and now we can do our Rednet stuff. Rednet dot send, which is how you send with an ID. So the arguments for this is ID, so the ID of the computer, and then we're going to send our receive command. Rednet.send, and then we're going to do our ID again, and then we're going to send our args2, because that is our file name. And then we're going to rednet.send our ID again, and then we're going to send the contents of the file, so f.readAll, and that'll be the end of that one. And then we can close the file, f.close, and we can put an else because this one could possibly be not existing. So if that else comes up, then we're going to do print, and we're just going to say args to does not exist. Let's do an exclamation mark because, you know. Oh, and let's cut that off. And then I've got to get rid of this exclamation point because that's not supposed to be there. Oops. I want that, not the exclamation point. Okay. And that's printed, and then we can return, if that happens, to our previous state, and then we can close that, and we need one more closing. And this is where the indents come in handy. And that is the send file command. So now that we have those on there, and we can run send file now. So if we run that, it'll ask our usage, or show us our usage. I don't know why I have a bracket there, the one in front of the pointy brackets, but it'll be send file, computer ID, and then file. So what we're going to do, which I already have the program on here, I believe. So if we run here, ls, yeah, so if we run get file on here, it's going to prepare to receive files. And if we go over here, let's do cd dot, I did that wrong. What do we got in here? So we have our send test, which I'm going to go over here because I already have it over here as well. I was testing this earlier, so let's just do our reboot here. ls, let's do delete, send test. Just get rid of that. And ls, that's gone. Now, oops, let's run get file again. So now this is on our disk. We can move it around and put it on every computer. You can also make an auto installer for it. You can add it to your operating system auto installer, which is pretty simple to do. Just add some code. And then we're going to run this, and we're going to send our send test file. I'm just going to run that quick. Send test. This is what comes up. This is a test file to send to another computer, and you can send entire files, entire programs. They will work once you send them from computer to computer. So this is a wireless way to distribute stuff, which is pretty cool. You can only send one program at a time, and it has to be a writable file, so you can't send a directory. But if you make a big program and you want to send it to another computer for someone else to work on or something like that, then simple to do using this. So what we're going to do is we're going to send file, and it's going to tell us, actually we got to do disk/send file because that's where it is. It's going to tell us our usage. We're going to do the same thing again, except we're going to use our computer ID, which I believe, I gotta check, but I can't remember. This computer is number 1 and it's labeled tutorial. Cool. Let's get file again. So this is the only thing is the get file has to be running before you send your files or else nothing will receive it. So that's listening now. You can see that the Rednet is on top. Send file, and then we're going to use ID 1. Then our file is going to be send test. I'm going to run that. It'll send it. Let's see if I can catch it over here before it reboots. No, it already rebooted, but we can do ls, and we have our send test. So now we can run send test. It runs like it should. Let's do it from here. Let's send. What do we have on here? ls. Let's send install over to here. So we're gonna set up get file on here. I'm gonna do disk.get file. It's running. We can go over here and we're gonna do send file. I think that one's ID 3, and we're gonna send it install. I'll do that quickly so maybe we can catch it before it. See, file install received. And it'll wait for 5 ticks. I set that up just to do that, and then it'll say no such program because you're running it from the disk. So that's the only problem with the one I wrote is that where I put the /.menu. Let's do this. Edit disk /get file. Right here, shell.run.menu. It's not getting anywhere, so we can just do os.reboot, and it'll reboot the system. Same with down here. I'm not sure. I don't think this ever runs, so I don't even think you need it, but I have it there just because I never actually tested to see if I needed it there. Because that's just an infinite loop. So honestly, I'm pretty sure I can just get rid of that, but that'll be fine. Test it if you need it. You need it. Cool, it's there. If you don't, I'm dumb and added it for no reason. So there we go. Send and get file. Basic networking in ComputerCraft. I'm going to move on to something else next week. I took a little bit of break from making videos last week just because I was a little sick and whatnot, and just trying to catch up on some sleep. But I'm back in full swing, I guess, sort of. I feel like making videos again, so here comes this one. Make sure you give me a like if you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you enjoy these Minecraft videos, and check out some of my other stuff, which is pretty cool. Some of my tech stuff, I like doing those videos. They're a lot more fun to make, and I will be continuing to make those. And I got some Euro Truck, got some LCPDFR. If you never looked at that, it's pretty cool. And I'm experimenting with some other stuff that should come out this week. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.